Excuse me. Good morning. Welcome to the United Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm the Reverend Jim Coakley. My pronouns are he, him, and I am so pleased to be with you today in our kickoff Sunday for the new program year. Alex Chilson, as you can tell, is not here today, hence the music video, and any backup accompanist were also not available, so you've got me. We're going to be singing all of our hymns a cappella. I'll lead you as best I can, but they're very familiar, kind of call and response. So they were designed for that kind of singing. So that's what we're going to do today. Also, we have Aaron back there. So, if we get in trouble, he'll help us out too, I'm sure, with all the audiovisual stuff. If you're a first-time visitor here or fairly new to the church, we're glad you're here. Just so you know that there's coffee and conversation down below in the lower level afterwards, and I hope everybody can join us. Today's a unusual service. Those of you that have been here for years are probably used to this, but I call it Mingling of the Waters. It has a million names: Gathering Waters, Mingling of the Waters, Water Communion. It's meant to be intergenerational, so all children are invited to stay in the service and participate. We don't have any childcare today. There's a few announcements. First of all, we're very, very excited, I'm sure you saw this, to have an expanded religious exploration, I call it, program this year for the kids. So K through 5, we have a teacher, Elizabeth, and middle school, so that's a little newer, hasn't been for a while. We have a teacher, Nicole, and then of course there will be childcare for toddlers and preschool as well. The next one is near and dear to my heart. It's Chalice Circles. You probably saw my really lengthy announcement in the weekly email blast, but I wanted to say something about it. Chalice Circles, I have found, is the best way for me to get to know the congregants in a congregation. Probably 50, 100 years ago, the minister would make house calls and get to know every family. That doesn't happen anymore. And so I've found with my other congregation that this was the best way. And so a Chalice Circle uses the same themes as Soul Matters, but it's more of a commitment. You sign up, and it's small groups, 6 to 8 people. You sign up to come once a month from May through September, or September through May, and you do some sort of spiritual exercise. They're not hard, and if you don't like what the suggestions are, you make up your own. But the whole idea is think about the theme and then come and share what you came up with that month with each other. And in the process, we get to know each other a lot better. So right now, we had enough people to sign up for one group, and I would love to lead 3 groups if I can. So go out on the website, and you go on your email, and you can find the link to the form, or if you want to make it simple, somebody already just wrote me out their name and their contact information, and I stuck it in my pocket. So I'll just do that later today. It's in the lobby as well. See, Sam knows everything, so that would help as well. I just want to get them going and to get to know all of you a little bit better. They would be when I'm here, so it's not virtual or hybrid, it's on site, either the 3rd or 4th Tuesday afternoons or evenings, or the 3rd Sunday after the service. So thank you for indulging me with that lengthy explanation. And then one final note. If you've been here for our water communion service, I think you understand sort of what's going to happen here, and I'll talk more about that later. But I'm adding something at the very end. We're going to do kind of a Pied Piper thing where I'm going to take the bowl of water and we're going to go outside. And Susan told me we should water the front garden, this tree up here. This one over here? Okay, I misunderstood. So Susan will help lead me to where we're going. But anyway, we'll gather around real briefly, and especially the children, we're going to take the little cups and we can water the plants and put the love of the water out into nature. So with that, I want to start our service with a call to gather. It's from the Reverend Allison Palm. You are welcome here. We gathered this morning on the brink of a new congregational year. Some of us have come fresh from summer adventures, from winds and waves and sunshine. Some of us come broken down from summer losses, from tears and pain and heartache. Some of us come renewed from summer rest, from peace and solitude and contemplation. Some of us come wearied from summer monotony, from work and heat and sameness. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever gifts and needs you bring, you are welcome here. And as is our custom, and I'll just explain it today because there might be visitors, we formally mark the beginning of our service by lighting a chalice. It's throughout our history, actually it became popular after World War II. The flaming chalice has been viewed as a symbol of religious freedom, a memorial for those who sacrificed their lives for religious liberty, and a reminder of our Christian roots of Unitarianism and Universalism. So once I've lit the chalice, please join me with the words in your order of service or up on the screen, and we'll say them together in unison. May this flame kindle within us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitment, and the light of truth. Here together we scatter and nurture seeds of service and community. All right, next is our first hymn. Let's have a go at this. It's gathering song number 100, I've Got Peace Like a River. It's in this hymnal. If you'd like to see the music, if you read music, since we don't have accompaniment, but you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. It's just the first 3 verses. So please rise as you're able, and let's try it out. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. Thank you very much. Whoever was adding that little descant, I loved it. Now we move into the time of sharing. It's a sacred time in our service because we share our joys and sorrows with each other. And the reason we do that is because it's in community, so that we can all celebrate with each other, or when we're having a sorrow or a tough time in life, we can hold it on our heart and send out positive energy and love to each other. So if you have something to share, please come forward to the microphone down there and tell us your name and what's on your heart. And as you do that, pick up a stone, share what you have to share, and then place it in the water. It's a symbolic way of saying the ripples move out to the rest of the community so we can be with each other. So if anyone would like to come up, I'm going to move down to that microphone. Yep.
I'm Ellen, and this stone is for all the teachers, all the students as they start a new school year, that they have a good year and that they come back home in one piece.
This stone is for my son, David, who's lives in Colorado, and he's just gotten a very bad medical diagnosis.
I'm Paula, and this is for the joy Stuart and I had of celebrating with our niece last weekend when we welcomed a new member of the family, her partner Nicole. They had a lovely, beautiful big wedding, and both of our kids were able to be there, so it was great.
Hi, I'm Jen, and my joy is that I'm back. There's a lot of new faces here. I've been coming for about 6 years, but on and off, so you may not recognize me, but I'm very, very happy to be back, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Donna, and this month, at least 4 of our members are having surgery. And so we wish them for successful medical staff be on top of the game, and they recover well.
My name is Molly, and it was my birthday on Sunday. So I'm now 12. Thank you. And I started school, and my favorite class so far is literacy with Miss Erickson, because she's the best teacher, Isabel. And then on Monday, last Monday, yeah, me and Dad did a lot of stuff so that I would be tired. And it worked. And I didn't want to get out of bed.
Can we sing happy birthday to Mom?
All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Molly. Happy birthday to you. Here comes a whole bunch of other kids. Hi, come on up. Okay. Anybody else? Do you want to say something? Come on up. You know how to do it? Okay. There we go.
I am happy because my auntie just got a baby this Thursday, and his name is Cooper.
Thank you. Coming up. Anyone else before I jump in? Well, I'm obviously going to put a stone of joy because I'm happy to be here with all of you. Last time kind of didn't count because it was all 3 congregations, so I had to sort out, well, who's here and who's visiting. But it's good to see all of you today, and this is a nice full house for this Sunday, so thank you very much. And if there's no one else, I'll put in one final stone for the joys and sorrows that not everybody's as extroverted as I am and wants to come up here and share. So if you've got something on your heart or mind that you want to lift up, just do that now. And I have to admit, I love the way you close this, the walking with you. I've never heard that before. And when I found out that Eric wasn't going to be here, I tried to look it up in the hymnal and I couldn't find it. So let's sing that, but you're going to sing it, not me, because I don't know how it goes. So go ahead, somebody start.
Walking with you, walking with you is our prayer.
Beautiful. You don't need me. That's great. We continue to share. Each week we take an offering because your generosity is what sustains the lifeblood of this congregation. There are two ways to give. The old-fashioned way that still works, just by passing the offering plate and put something in the offering plate, or by going online to uniteducc.org/giving, or make it even easier, use the QRC in the order of service, or if your camera works to see this one, it's kind of blurry, you can just do it that way. Thank you to everyone who faithfully give through pledges, donations, time, and talent. We're forever grateful for your commitment. And for music here, I think you probably know it. From you I receive, to you I give. The words are right there on the bottom. So let's just do it as a chant. You don't need to stand up. If you don't feel like singing, just listen to it. If you feel like humming, that's good too. But we're just going to do this kind of as a nice, gentle chant. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Thank you, everyone. Living love through welcoming waters. I wanted to start by introducing my children. You don't know who they are. They are 33 and 31, so they won't be coming up here. They live in Minneapolis and down in San Miguel, Mexico. But when they were little, they're Alex and Christiana. Christiana's 31, Christiana's 33, Alex is 31. When they were little, this was their favorite service of the whole year. They grew up in the Appleton UU Fellowship and they know nothing else that's different. And they just, in the summertime, wherever we went, we often went to state parks where there were lakes, or sometimes, if we were lucky enough, out to Lake Michigan or the ocean. We always had to have, now I'm going to date myself, remember when you took pictures with film? And you had those little gray plastic canisters of film, and you had to put it in, and you sent it to Walgreens or sent it in the mail, and you got your photos back in the old days. Well, we would have all those little gray canisters, a bag of them in our car, because we never knew when our kids were wanting to go get a sample of water from wherever we were, and then, so they'd get them throughout the whole year, and then I guess decide which one they wanted to bring to the service, or we lost them. I'm not quite sure. So we did this, and there's two particular times I remember. So Alex is just this huge lover of history, and it turns out to be world history now, but at the time it was U.S. history. And we did one of those spring breaks where we visited their aunt and uncle in Washington, D.C., and on the way we went to Gettysburg. And it was so cute that he did this news forecast. So he was recording himself talking about all the monuments. That's how into it he was. He was probably 10 years old at the time. Well, while we were in Washington, he loved it so much, he desperately wanted us to find somewhere where we could get down to the Potomac and grab some of the water and then bring it back for the service. Now, that was March, because it was spring break. So we had to remember that we usually put it in the freezer and get it out for the fall service. Christiana was not quite so aggressive about it. Every summer, her grandma and grandpa, who live in East Lansing, Michigan, would find a place in the Sleeping Bear Dunes up in northwest Michigan, on Lake Michigan, and we'd spend a whole week there with the whole family. And she just loved that, especially being with her cousins, because we don't live near any family at all. And to be able to see cousins and be there the whole week was just the top of her game. So she always got some water from Lake Michigan to bring. But frankly, most of all, they found the love in that congregation, in the act of the mingling of waters. These were the people who loved them and cared for them since they were very, very little. And it was basically a chosen family. So those are the memories that I bring today to this service. And in that spirit, that I want to do this. Just a little background in the way I think about this. Most religious traditions are grounded in stories, beliefs, or dogmas which must be accepted to belong. By contrast, I'm sure you all know this, we simply proclaim that love is at the center of our faith. And I saw there's this little plaque when you walk in the door. That's exactly what it says. I'm like, well, that was spot on today. Love is in the center of our faith. Our Unitarian Universalist traditions, rituals, values, principles, and covenants are all grounded in love. In fact, the very first covenant dates back to the early 1600s in New England, and it was all that they had agreed to covenant with each other to live and walk in love. It goes back that far. As long as we intend to live love-centered lives, we belong. So then I think of congregational life as always having two questions that you think of first, especially when things might get a little tense or awkward or something. We should continually ask ourselves, what is the most loving thing to do at this moment? Or where does love show up here? What am I sensing, right? So today, I hope you have brought a small sample of water tied to a highlight from your summer, your garden, a lake or stream, a rainstorm, or even melted ice that you left out in the sun and your drink melted. And as you pour it into a communal bowl, tell us two things. What moment it represents from your life this summer, and where was love present when you collected it? Like the examples of my children, my son's love of history and visiting his aunt and uncle, and my daughter's love of just hanging out with the cousins kind of thing. More examples to give you some little seeds. Water from a small pond in a nature preserve that contains your love of nature. Water from a backyard pool during a party where close friends and family members showed their love and care for each other. Water from a fast-flowing stream up north where the night sky filled with stars reminds you of your love of wonder and awe of nature. Water from your garden hose, which reminds you of your love of plants and homegrown food. Or frankly, and this is actually my favorite, water from my bathroom tap, namely the shower, where love and self-care became so real from a clean shower after a very, very humid day this summer. We are people living love-centered lives, and frankly, we know that, but we take it for granted. And so I want to spend some time today just thinking of where love shows up, and you just take it for granted because we're lucky enough to live love-centered lives. And today, take that moment to share that with everyone else. So, of course, if you didn't bring any water with you, because you have to remember to do that, please accept our invitation to pour some water out of the big pitcher, or if you're like me and I overuse my wrists a lot, I've poured water in those little cups too. So you can just share a little dollop. You don't have to fill the bowl. That's not your mission. Just a little bit, and say this is symbolic water, and then tell us that moment and where love was for you in that. So we'll get started in a second, and I hope everyone will be invited to come up and say something, because don't worry about the heaviness of the pitcher. I'm going to end this and introduce our ritual with essentially a blessing, a prayer, if you will. So please join me in the spirit of prayer. This is by Reverend Tracy Johnson. Blessed water, source of life, of which we are wondrously made, source of sustenance, quenching our inner thirst, source of refreshment, cooling our bodies, source of restoration in dry times, penetrating hardened surfaces, rejuvenating, cleansing. Blessed water, source of life, we see your power upon our earth. Watch with awe as it pours from the heavens, filling beyond capacity sometimes, raging over once trusted boundaries, rising up from the low places, filling lives not unlike our own with heartache, and yet we know it as our source and offer blessings. Blessed water, source of life, we share our water today from home, from our favorite places. Water that flows clear and cool from mountaintops. Water that comes in rolling waves, caressing the shores and then returning to the sea. Water that rises in springs from deep beneath the earth's surface. Water that falls gentle and warm, or in sudden downpours from cloud-filled skies. Blessed water, source of life, we honor this collection of water today, not because of its individual sources, but because it is gathered here in this place. In this act of mingling our separate lives, our personal encounters with life-giving waters, we symbolize the coming together of this body of blessing and hope, this body of joy and commitment. As these waters are joined, so too we join. We offer our blessing upon this coming together of people and water, a blessing upon our intentions as we gather in celebration this year, week to week and month to month. May our connections be as drops of water, gently held in the common space of our community home. May we find in this place refreshment, rejuvenation, sustenance, cleansing, and restoration. And I will add, may we find in this place lives centered in love. Amen. So, here we go. I invite everybody to come up and form a line, I guess, to the left, if we can, because I don't want to take time walking up and walking back kind of thing. So form that way, because then you can talk in the microphone first where your water's from and what it meant to you, and then just pour a little bit into the bowl. So that's it. We'll start.
First, you can stand over here. Stand here. Okay, my name is Aaron. This is Saphira, my daughter, one of two. And hold this. This water represents me and my wife Hannah giving Victoria and Saphira baths and showers because they're still at that age. So it's a way that we love and care for them and maybe take for granted that they rely on us and that one day we will probably miss that. So pour just a little bit in.
My name is Molly. This water, represents the zoo because I went to the zoo with Isabel and Adrian and Sarah, and I had a lot of fun. And then, yeah.
This water represents a couple of things. First is, my mom passed away in July, and we always had lots of flowers and tomato plants on our deck because she loved to see them and take care of them every day. But we had water wars between, especially my husband and her, because she wanted to water everything all the time, and he wanted to water things when it was appropriate. So we had the water wars, and so this is a memory of the water wars that we won't be doing anymore. And also I'd like to do some water for my children, both who have water associations right now. My daughter and son-in-law and family just moved to Bainbridge Island, right across Puget Sound from downtown Seattle. And my son and his wife have been canoeing all summer. They live in the city of Chicago, and they've been doing all the tributaries all over the city. And I lived there for 10 years and didn't even know these places existed. So they've done a lot of water. As he said, they're boat people now.
This might be a terrible idea. Okay, you guys can put the water in the, no, over here. We're putting water in the bowl today. Yeah, take a cup of water and put it in the bowl. Okay, This water represents the water at our lake that my family has a cabin on. Yeah, dump it right in there. So I've remembered actual water from the actual lake maybe once in the 9 years now that we've been doing this, so I tend to forget. But my great-grandmother bought a hunting cabin on a small lake a long time ago, and it's been in the family now we're like the 4th generation now, because my sisters and I just purchased it this year from my mother and her 4 siblings, which was an effort to get all of those people together and make that happen. So, but it's still like everybody comes, everybody hangs out. It's like a whole family thing, and it's only in the summer because it's not winterized at all. So it really is just like a summer hangout, and we go as often as we can over the summer, and then we shut it all up for the winter, and then we come back the next year and do it again. So yeah, Molly has come a couple times too with us actually now. So it's been really fun, and we look forward to being able to continue to go there. Right? Yeah? Okay. Come on.
So this water is from my faucet, and it represents love of self-care by hydrating regularly. It represents my love for all things green and growing, all my flowers and plants, and Dennis's love of gardening. And it also represents, last night being able to prepare a feast for a loving feast for friends.
Good morning. This is not insure. I want to assure everybody, first of all, it's just a transfer of the water from our well at our home here in Vernon, and it's helping my wife do a good job of raising flowers, shrubs, and all that sort of thing. And we're still fighting the good battle against the mosquitoes, so we're winning. All right.
Hi, so this water is just from our kitchen tap. A couple things. I think they take clean drinking water for granted, right? It's when you see boil advisories or you think back to crypto or whatever, it's like, boy, again, take this stuff for granted. It is from our kitchen tap, and a little bit like what Diane said. You know how when you have people over, you clean the whole house, and everyone gathers in the kitchen. That's where the food is, that's where the drink is. So it represents that love as well as, again, fresh drinking water.
This water represents water from the Mississippi River. We had a recent trip we spent with the family, grandkids and kids, for an outing that we plan every year to see the different parts of the state. Thank you.
This water represents the channel that runs in front of my house, which of course has sustained me with nature for 45 years now. I can't believe I've been there that long. Just yesterday there was a white egret who's been coming now the last couple days, which is so cool. It also represents the maniac water that my son does his whitewater kayaking on, because so far it's holding him up. The last post he posted, and I can't remember the river, but he goes through the rocks and everything, and he disappears upside down, which is why I have all this gray hair, because I'm like, okay, come on, come on. Pretty soon he pops back up and everybody on the shore is yelling, yay, and I'm going, you got it, yay. So he keeps saying that this river, he hasn't won on this river. He ends up upside down. He pops up and takes a breath and back under he goes. And I'm like, oh, please. But anyway, it's for the water.
Yeah, because we need his cookies and bread for the auction, so. Same son?
Yes, same son. And if anybody's on Facebook, you can see what he's doing. I mean, you'll go, and you'll know why I have the gray hair.
Hi, I have to appreciate that Michael had two kinds of water source, because I have two kinds of water source, and I can't pick. I went on a longer trip in the later summer and ended up spending most of the week in Tennessee, but I went to Alabama. It was kind of a decision on how to use this one day. We went to Ivy Green, which is the name of the home in which Helen Keller was raised, and so got to see all of the memorial stuff to Helen Keller and the restoration of the home, and touch the pump that goes with the whole story of getting through to her with one word, that was water. It represents love from so many years ago, and also the love of the docents, the way the docents are sharing how deeply, I mean, they could be like boring, this is, self-tour, go away, but they weren't. And then I also can't help telling this story. I also went to Indiana for a retreat. I ended up with a passenger on my way home, which was not planned, a new person to me who was going to Chicago. We stopped in Indiana for let's rest, get our hips moving, get out of the car, go to the bathroom in the gas station, which doesn't sound like much of a story. But the bathroom had two stalls for us two ladies, and one of them had an out of order sign taped on it, and I went first into the stall that had no toilet paper. And she's also 82 and about the size of our friends here, okay? She crawled underneath that bathroom stall that had the taped shut door to get me toilet paper, if that's not love.
I'm Jennifer. I didn't forget my water sample. This is my water sample from this church because this is where I've been a lot. And this symbolizes all the different waters that are here, that equals all our different beliefs and spirituality, and it all combines into the one light of love.
Hi, I'm Dave. My water sample is from the Whitewater Municipal System. And you say, how prosaic. But it is a reminder, the Whitewater Municipal System starts on an adventure with a well that's going down 450 feet deep, plunging into the Cambrian sandstone, the source of massive aquifer under this area. Comes up and it goes through this piping and is stowed in a water tower that was built in the 1860s, stone and steel and everything, and we got the water through it, and cool, and it all works. And the fact this is all groundwater reminds me that all of this love that was poured on us in August eventually disperses somewhere, goes into the ground and ends up in the aquifer. And if we pay attention to how we dispose of the water, if we apply our love to it, we keep it clean so that when it goes down to the aquifer, it's good for us. And actually, we've succeeded somewhat. The Whitewater sampling has proved that they have no PFAS systems, PFAS contamination issues. But the one thing I'm reminded of is a saying that I heard, that humanity was invented by water for the purpose of moving it from one place to another.
Hi, I'm Jen again. And water is kind of peripheral to my story, except human beings are made of, 85, 90% water. Oh, is it 60? Okay, 60% water. And we had a lot of tea that weekend, so I count that water as well. Over Labor Day weekend, I had a retreat with 4 women that we haven't been in a room together for 31 years. And we lived together when we were in DC, and it was the most amazing retreat I've ever had. It was deep sharing, deep listening, the kind of thing that reminds you who you are and who they are and what you have. And the love was just absolutely tangible. Fantastic. So let's see.
Hi, my name is Allie, and I'm doing the water because water is for all the cleaning that I do. For the dishes, the bathrooms, and everything, so I appreciate water. Yes.
I'm Lisa, and I forgot to bring water, but it's very appropriate. I wish I had. I just wanted to speak to my experience this summer. Some of you know a few years ago I went on a sailing trip with my daughter, who's now in college. We had to sign up for it 2 years in advance. I get super seasick, and and I am not afraid of dying, to be morbid, but I am afraid of dying by drowning. So the irony. So we went on this trip, and to my extreme surprise, it completely fed my soul. And I fell in love with it. We came home, and the absence of it, of being on the water and being with the wind, was really profound for me. So last year I took some lessons on how to sail. And I'm a huge introvert, which is why I get nervous when I come up here to talk in front of all of you, even though I know most of you. I'm a huge introvert, so I took lessons, I rubbed a bunch of elbows, got to know some people, and this whole summer I have spent every Friday night on a competitive racing team boat out in Lake Michigan. Yeah. And it's been, this past Friday we were coming in, the sun had gone down, the race went really late, and just to watch the moon coming down. And I said to one of my crewmates that, I said, not to be cheesy, but this really feeds my soul. And she was like, that's why we're here, right? So anyhow, and you don't really want to touch the water when you're sailing, because that's like something, and the winds were so heavy Friday that actually as I was working on one of the winches, the boat was heeled over and my 1 foot, like there was like 2 feet of water coming over my leg. And it was super intense. And I loved every minute of it. So for me, the water represents courage. I'm really proud of myself for the courage. And that sense of interacting with nature and the wind and harnessing that and being one with that has been a joy that I have not felt with anything else in my life. So pretty cool. That's mine.
I'm Donna, and I know that this past year many people have had sadness in their lives, and there have been lots of tears. And my water represents the tears, and hopefully they're surrounded with love.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm relatively new to UU, and so this ritual is new to me. And I was just impressed at what a beautiful ritual it is, and how it's going to be something I'm going to carry with me now through this year, and hopefully the next year, as I'm in a present moment, to reflect of what could I bring back as a memory or something spiritual that happened to me. But today I'm going to reflect on the fact that the water that I'm going to share today is the Fox River, which I live on, and it is a beautiful thing in my life in that it has been a place where, because I can look out on my decks and see the water normally calm and peaceful, flowing by, it's just this wonderful aspect that I have in my life. It is also, I do the river walk all the time, and it has been a beautiful thing that I've shared with Carolyn. This last summer, we have made almost effortlessly a commitment to walk all the way down to Frame Park, all the way back to the Veterans Park. We do this with my dog almost every morning, and it has been such a blessing to have these opportunities to reflect back on our life, to talk about abstract thoughts, principles, our heartaches, our hopes, our joys, and it developed this really rich and beautiful relationship for us. And over the last couple weeks, we saw what the Fox River can do. It reminds me that Mother Nature still rules this planet, right? And so we saw that, and we were very fortunate, even though I am probably, this would be the river, that balcony up there would be my balcony. I am close, but we're high. And so I saw, flooding was everywhere. We saw our walk just flooded over, the mud come up and everything, and the power of it. But also just how once it rages, it can recede, and it leaves behind its memory with some of the things it's pushed around, and our lives are often like that. And that we will go through something, it will recede, and though we might carry some scars or some damage from it, we're better, or we can be better, more resilient as a result of it.
I'm Paul, and this water represents the Atlantic Ocean, which Susan and I flew over in May to spend a wonderful week with her family, her two brothers and all of their children and wives. We really, got to know each other much better after not having been to a large gathering like this in many, many years. Of course, there was a bit of sadness with it because we were also remembering her father who passed away in December, but the love from being together with family was really special.
So thank you, everyone that contributed, and everybody that didn't come up with water, at least hold all of these memories and all of this love. So it is my wish, and I hope the wish of all of us, that all of this mingling of the waters from our community and the love that it is contained within will sustain us through the next program year. Amen. And now I would like to close out, I call it the sending song, with the hymn, Come and Go With Me. It's in this hymnal. If you don't know it, it's number 1018 if you'd like to follow the music, because once again, I'm your accompanist as well. So please rise as you're able. I will give you a heads up. If you are looking in the hymnal, I have this tendency on these kinds of songs to write my own words, which is completely normal in the style of music that this is. So you might want to watch the words on the screen once you get the melody down. So please rise and sing with me. Come and go with me. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me in that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be joy in that land. There'll be joy in that land. There'll be joy in that land where I'm bound. There'll be joy in that land. There'll be joy in that land. There'll be joy in that land where I'm bound. There'll be love in that land. There'll be love in that land. There'll be love in that land where I'm bound. There'll be joy, love in that land. There'll be love in that land. There'll be love. very much. And you can stay standing because we're going to move outside pretty quickly here. Let me just end with the closing words that are also my chalice extinguishing. Beloveds, you don't have to come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, because we have already arrived. This congregation is where we gather together in joy and in love. Although we extinguish the flame of our chalice, may our water mingling ceremony be your invitation to return again and again, to be renewed and sustained throughout the year. Peace, love, and joy to you all. And so, now we're going to do this little ritual, which hopefully you'll get a kick out of it. We're going to return the waters to the source, the earth and love, and go around, I guess, to this side, to this garden where it's a little more accessible, and I'll carry the bowl out. And if you want to be really silly, we can continue to sing Come and Go With Me to That Land. It'll be Come and Go With Me to the Garden, all right? Here we go. Come and go with me to the garden, come and go with me to the garden, come and go with me to the garden, just outside.